Bonjour classe, c'est Monsieur Woodrow ici pour la classe de français. Ici c'est un screencast pour les adjectifs. D'accord, pour commencer, nous avons la définition d'un adjectif. Here class we have the Adjectives Screencast, and we'll start with the definition of an adjective just to review with you all. So what is an adjective? It's the same thing in French as it is in English. It's a describing word. So it's a word you use to describe another word. Usually, in fact, it's a word that describes a noun. Some examples in English would be things like short, tall, any colors would be adjectives. Alright, and some French adjectives and examples would be petit, or grand, or bleu, or intelligent, right? All sorts of adjectives we're studying right now, the definitions. But with adjective, there's a lot more we need to study than the definitions. Okay, adjectives have 4 different forms. Il y a 4 formes différentes pour les adjectifs. Il y a le masculin singulier. Il y a aussi le féminin singulier, masculin pluriel, et féminin pluriel. There's 4 different forms. We take into consideration the gender and number of the noun that's being described. So that means, how do we figure out what form of the adjective to make if there are 4 different ones of them? Well, it all depends on the noun. The noun is the boss. Okay? So, for example, if the noun is masculine singular, then the adjective will be masculine singular. Or if the noun is feminine plural, maybe like fille, then the adjective will be feminine singular. In most cases, we add es to the end of your adjective, right? And so we'll be taking a look at that. Just a reminder, most adjectives, if you want to make a masculine plural, you just add s. Most adjectives, if you want to make them feminine singular, just add e. Masculine singular, you typically don't add anything or change the adjective in any way. Now, there are irregular forms. However, we won't be getting to that in this screencast. And when we're talking about sentence structure in French, it's slightly different than English. It's actually the exact same as Spanish and Italian if you've studied those 2 languages before. The adjective will follow the noun. Okay, so in some cases in English we say something like the blue tie. But in French we would say cravate bleu. And it's feminine, cravat is feminine, so we're going to add that extra e to bleu, as we mentioned above. Another example of this would be something such as smart dog. Maybe you have a smart dog. I know I have a really smart dog. Sometimes he's so smart he makes dumb decisions, if you know what I mean. We would have, in French, we would bring the dog out in front and we say chien intelligent. So what you see here is a different pattern for your word order or your sentence structure. Many students get used to calling it backwards, although it's really only backwards if English is your first language. We have 9 pratiques here. Okay. One thing to keep in mind when you're doing these is 4 different forms. So when you go through here and you translate the 3 words, a smart boy, remember to keep in front of your mind the number and gender of your noun, because that could change the ending to your adjective. Also, remember the order in which it goes. Remember we said it's a reverse order. So instead of smart boy, it would be a boy smart. Please, as you're going through these, take your time. Use word reference as needed to check gender. And always remember to include your articles as well. You have definite and indefinite articles here. Okay? Happy practice. I'll be back in a moment. Pause this video, and when you've finished your practice, unpause it, and you will see the answers. Bienvenue, class. Welcome back. Glad to see you've taken some time to do your practice. And we're going to go through your answers now. For a smart boy, we would say un garçon. Your accent. Intelligent. Are we going to add anything on the end after the T? No, we will not, because it is masculine singular. It's one boy. A tall girl. Girl is feminine, so we're going to put the E on the end of une fille grande is what you would think. But we're going to come back to numbers 2 and 4 in just a moment. An interesting book. Un livre intéressant. We're going to put on anything on the back of it. Livre is masculine, so we're not adding anything. The next one is a short boy. Boy is masculine singular. Garçon. So we're going to keep everything in the masculine singular form, and we're not going to change it. However, number 4 was one of these that we said we're going to come back to look at. The patient teachers. Now we're getting plural. And I also changed up the type of article. Now you're using a definite article, and it's plural, so we'd use les, prof, patient. So on the end of patient, since it's plural, we're going to add an S. A good way you can always double check this: plural, plural, and plural. A blonde sister. So again, we have a singular female here. So we are going to start with une, and then go with sœur, une sœur, and then blonde, it's feminine, so we are going to add the E's. See the E's there that we've added. The mean mother, oh, we've all said that our mother was mean at some point, so it's not too much of a, add that extra E, not too much of a stretch. Again, we have feminine word, mother is feminine, so we have la, and we have méchante. But we all do know that our mothers are mean for good reasons, and they know what's best for us. So we can look past the moment that they seem a little mean. The happy student. This is always good when there's a happy student. And again, we're saying the here. We have accent. We have l'élève. Content. We do not know the gender of this student. Okay, so since we do not know it, we must keep the form in the masculine. Okay, élève always has that E. So there's nothing to change there. But content, we won't add an E because if we don't know the gender, we just keep it masculine. In our last example, I brought out some. Do you remember how to say some? That's correct. If you said day, you're right. So you have some selfish students. Another way to say students would be étudiant. I'll put that in here with an S. And the selfish part would be your égoïste. And égoïste always has an E. So it's even there if it's masculine, and then we add the S. Okay? Those are your 9 examples. As promised, let's return to numbers 2 and number 4. Because as written, they are actually incorrect. If you remember in our notes, we read, the adjective follows the noun usually. All right? I want to throw two different ones in here that do not follow the noun. It's something we're going to be studying later, but I wanted to make sure you knew it at least existed. Grand is one of the adjectives that will come before the noun. And petit is also one of those. All right, so you will see that from time to time, and I'll have more instruction on this later. But as of right now, those are the only two that you need to worry about putting before the noun. Okay? Hope you've enjoyed this screencast by Monsieur Woodrow sur les adjectifs.